where the viaduct looms like a bird of doom as it shifts and cracks, where secrets lie in the border fires and the humming wires. Yeah, man, you know you're never coming back. Past the square, past the bridge, past the mills, past the stacks. On a gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand. Wrap you in his arms, tell you that you've been a good...
Hello and welcome to the debut episode of MidWeek Banter. I am Sam.
And I am Aaron.
And
I
welcome.
say Azza, really. The title says Azza. I am Azza.
And welcome to the first edition. This is a brand new show for you. We hope to inform, entertain, and also get you through this tough time by doing those first two things. So hopefully this will be a show for everyone. It's going to start out as a show for kind of our group of football players when we play on a Wednesday night. But obviously, with the situation being what it is, we haven't been able to do that. So we thought, let's do something else instead and reflect on our time together and talk about football in general and have a bit of fun while we're doing it as well.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully we can keep people entertained and hopefully people will want to watch. Firstly, Sam, how are you anyway? You coping through the lockdown?
Just, I think the key to it, I'm glad I've come to this realization, is taking each day as it comes. Not planning ahead too far and not thinking, oh, I have to be this productive for this day or whatever. It's just about taking each day as it comes, and that's really, really helping me. What about you? How's lockdown treating you?
Yeah, you know what? I found it all right at first. I've been just going with it. Obviously, you know, some people will. I've still been working, so it's been getting me out of the house, and I've still had a routine. So I've been able to get out. And it's not really affected me, but you know, as time's gone on, Sam, and I just feel in the same thing now. I'm working, coming home, because you can't do nothing. Like, you start appreciating having that couple of nights of football and stuff, and you know, it breaks up a week a bit because you know in the evening you're gonna go and have a little run out and stuff. So yeah, it is what it is though. As long as everybody's all right, then it's all good, ain't it? So. But everything's changing. Well, is it changing fast? I don't know. We're just moving with how it comes, I guess, at the moment. So. And
there's so much unknown as well. So because there's so much unknown, we can't even really make any. We don't even know if the things are moving fast or not because we're not being told much, and maybe we're not being told much because people don't know much. And, but obviously, we don't want to get too political about it. But yeah.
No. But I guess. As long as everybody's right, we're happy, and then let's hope we entertain people. But so today, on our first podcast, we have with us today the CEO, Imzy, to talk us through the start of Midweek Ballers, obviously about our Wednesday night football and all football, really, because again, even that football, the current state of football is obviously moving fast now. So we've got a lot of topics to talk with Imzy and with each other today. And we got the first edition of the Midweek Borders leaderboard today and a few other things chucked in. But before we bring in Imzy, Sam, I'm interested in your views on the start of Midweek Ballers. I believe it started Sundays and there was a change of days, maybe old players who started it, you know, because I believe obviously you must have been there from the start, Imzy. I believe was Rishi was playing as well. I think so.
Quite early on, yeah.
So what's your thoughts and memories and how it all began and how the day got switched?
Well, I mean, if it wasn't for Sunday football, then Midweek Ballers might not be in existence right now. So we have a lot to be grateful for to the Sunday football. And I remember a long time ago, probably over a decade ago, my cousin said to me, you know, if you want to play football, I play with some guys, and they're mostly like kind of middle-aged dudes who are technically quite good, but the work rate maybe wasn't there as much, which suited me as well. And as someone who's never kind of played at any kind of level at all, because I know your background's different to mine, but I never played on a Sunday league team. I never played for a school team. I've never been coached or trained or anything in terms of football.
Yeah.
I love watching football and I love playing football on the PlayStation and stuff. And I had affinity for it, but I always I'll be more of a watcher than a doer. So then when I got a chance to play, and I managed to fit right in, and it was great. And it was Sunday mornings, and we played in like snowy conditions and summery conditions. It was great. I remember going there and seeing quite like some of the OGs there, like Khalil and Vij and Nikhil, and luckily, not to blow my own horn, but I was more technically able than I thought. And I was, despite what the situation is now, I was a striker and I was a poacher and I was in front of a goal. I was putting goals away and I was able to dribble and get past players as well. And I had different celebrations. And I think, in fact, one time I remember when Yusuf was playing, and this was the time, I think it was a Champions League final, Man United versus Barcelona. And we played on the Sunday after the final. And obviously, for my kind of slight bias against Manchester United, I wrote on a shirt. I wrote on a shirt underneath my football shirt saying something like "Shut up, Fergie" or something like that, something along those lines. And I scored, and I ran up to Yusuf and I lifted my top up like that and told him to read it. So it had that real element of competitiveness, but also a really good bunch of lads. I also remember playing when I had dislocated my shoulder, and I was still so adamant to play. I loved playing so much that I had it strapped up and I had it like here, and I put the bib on top of it, and I was still running around and playing outfield and stuff like that. And I think there should be a clip of it just there, but it was just the real highlight of my week, and I couldn't. And Imzy was part of that. And then, like you said, Rish joined later on as well. And Addy came in towards the end of Sunday. And Rish said, we should make this a bi-weekly, a twice a week thing because, it's a good quality of game. So let's play during the week as well. But unfortunately, some of the older dudes who played on Sunday mornings couldn't make it on Wednesday nights. So then a few of them could, but eventually Sundays got phased out and it just kind of died off, which is a shame, but understandable. But then the quality of Wednesday intensified, and the quality got better, and it was a real switch. And it was, I noticed that myself, that as the quality got better, I moved further back down the pitch. So I was a striker, and then I was a midfielder trying to be a bit more creative, and then I was a wing back, then I was a centre back. And now, of course, I'm a goalkeeper, and I don't know,
in the sticks now.
In the sticks, and who knows what's next? Maybe just managing or cameraman or something like that.
So, I can certainly say you are most definitely still capable of playing out a pitch. I know that for a fact. So we won't be having none of that talk here. Just a quick one, I think, because do you remember who brought Rish down? Because I think he knows you quite well. I'm not sure. Rish has never told me, so.
Yeah, well, I think their bond formed from Sundays, but part of me thinks that it was Tash. We used to have a player called Tash. He was a Chelsea player, and quite a thin dude, and quite rapid. And I think he was friends with Rish, and he brought Rish in, and then that's how it kind of kicked off for Rish.
Because I remember Rish used to always say to me, well, I'll tell you the story. I remember one day, I was playing probably 4 or 5 times a week, Sam, so it weren't like I was in and looking for a game or anything like that. But I remember Rish messaging me one day saying, do you fancy a game? And I happened to had no game that day sort of thing, so I was free. And I was sitting there thinking, because I play a lot already, I was sitting there thinking, do I really fancy it? But of course, if you love it, you know the score, Sam. If you love it and you get that message, mate, I was sitting there thinking, 5 minutes later, I was like, you know what, let's go for that. So, I obviously said, yeah. And that was down Brycelip. And I remember we picked up Addy and someone else that night, but I can't remember who. And that was my first game. So I remember that. And then Rish kind of said, oh, there's a spot next week. Do you want to come? And I just said, yeah, straight away. I was like, yeah, I enjoyed it. Let's go again. And then that's when it was down Power League. I remember that being Power League my second week in. and it obviously been Power League ever since. And I remember Rich kept saying to me, "So glad you come the first week, man." It kept going on me about it being first week. So I'm assuming the change of the days, I may well have been there from the first week, or obviously early doors, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. From there till now, it's been a good 8 to 10 years. But I do remember my first game. I think I've mentioned to you before. I can't remember the whole teams in that, and I know me and Rich were on the same side, but I remember coming down Power League. I thought second week in, just take it easy, you know what I mean? Play it simple, don't go too crazy. And I remember I was playing at the back, but I remember playing this pass out, and it was kind of in the corner, and no one was on me, and I just made this late run, and Abbas B had the ball. I remember just screaming at him, Sam, like lay me off. I was going, man, just pass me the ball, pass me the ball. I hit this sweet shot. I remember it being saved, to be fair. I don't think I scored. And I remember Abbas B just turning to me going, "Azza!" And I turned around, he goes, "I like you, man. I like the way you play." And you know how I got his accent in my head when I say it. You know what I mean? The way Abbas B says things. But yeah, that's one of my earliest memories. But obviously it grew from there. I never wanted to stop, mate. Good group of people. I'll tell you one point as well, what I like about it, you know, because in general, it's like a group of mates having a game, really. So that could be, sometimes depending on who you're with, that could just be like a kick about and not too serious. Yeah. What I love about this is we've got a good group of people that come together. We're all friends, but when we turn up and we get on that pitch, it is kill or be killed almost, ain't it? Really, it's competitive, and we play to win, and I love it. So you go in there getting a proper workout, you're having a proper game of football. You want to win. And then, we chat beforehand, and then we can come off soon as we come off the pitch. We're all having a good laugh together after. So it's perfect, mate. To be honest, it's been really good, and it's been a good 10 years actually. I've really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, big up midweek ballers, really. Great. It was a great game to be in.
It is fantastic, and as you say, and like for you play a lot more competitive football than I do. For me, it's the closest to any kind of level of football I'll ever get, so I take it very competitively. But and again, and like you said, it's a good group of lads. You're mixing with people who you probably might never have mixed with, or I might never have known if it wasn't for football. And it is universal language, isn't it? And it's probably why it's the most popular sport in the world. It's because it brings people together. It pushes people apart as well, but
it certainly can do. It certainly can at the moment, but again, I mean, like I say, it's the competitive that the competition that really gets me. And I remember, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. It's in me, Sam. Competitive to the end, sort of thing. It's really in me. And I think, again, something I probably mentioned to you before, like, forget the football, mate. If you told me to clean a toilet better than the guy next to me, trust me, that toilet's going to be 100% cleaner than the guy next to me, yeah? So that's how deep it runs within me, So it could be anything. So, yeah, and that's why it's captured me, really, because you do get that competitive edge and people take it serious, so.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems like there's a lot more at stake during the games than there actually is. Like, the way people are playing, you might think there's a chance for a trophy or promotion or something like that. And actually, at the end of it, it's just bragging rights, isn't it? And just that having that banter afterwards, as you say, in the car park. And yeah, it's a real special like bunch of. It's a special thing, and it's a special bunch of people as well. But it is a pain to organise. As someone that's organised on Sundays, it is a pain in the ass to organise, especially in the days when there was no WhatsApp groups, because now, luckily, it's somewhat automatic. People put their name down on the list in the WhatsApp group, and it kind of just rolls from there. But I had to send out texts, and I tried to be creative with the text at first, like, doing little raps and stuff, or trying to lure them in with a little bit more of manipulated language. But afterwards, it's like, are you fucking playing or not? And get that sent out and getting people to play and then taking the money and all that. So I'm quite lucky that eventually I think I've managed to enjoy the game more after I got rid of the admin side of it, after I kind of push it onto other people. And the person who has picked up the brunt of that work, in fact, all that work pretty much, and something we are eternally grateful for, is Imzy, who will be comment on very shortly. And And again, credit to you as well, because he is not the only one that's got players. When we've needed players, you stepped in. You organised games before as well. So it's so you know the feeling as well. And you do more than just the midweek stuff. You organise other stuff as well, don't you?
Yeah. Obviously got the Sunday team, run the Sunday team, which is obviously it'll have its moments. You know, that can be hard work, because easy it is, as you say, it's all set up with the WhatsApp now and stuff like that. Also, we have a couple of short-sided teams in the week. Before we had 2 running. You know, we had a Tuesday league,
Wow.
Thursday league, along with the Wednesday, running the Sunday. But again, that's why if Imzy's not about or he needs help, it's easy for me to step in, because I kind of, you know, I've got the gist of what needs to be done already, sort of thing. But yeah, it can take its toll at times, especially when you're lacking players or anything like that, you know, and you're chasing around. But so yeah, I know the ins and outs for sure. I wouldn't have thought Imzy would want to run a Sunday team, put it that way, but because Wednesdays can have its own troubles as it is. But yeah, nice. Obviously, it can be a group effort at time, but Imzy puts in the miles for the Wednesday for sure, getting the pitches booked up and stuff like that. So
most definitely. And anything you wanted before we bring Imzy on? Anything you wanted to bring up, or should we get right to our guest?
No, let's bring him in. I'm sure we got a lot to talk about with Imzy, didn't we, really? And a lot of questions I hopefully the group will appreciate. We've got especially lined up for him.
I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous. I got a little preview of your questions, and I'm like, I was going to be a little bit... Let's see how we go. So we will be bringing on the chairman of the board, CEO Imzy, right after this. Welcome back to Midweek Banter. We are now joined by the one, the only, the chairman of the board, the CEO, the president of Midweek Ballers. It's Imzy. Welcome.
Yes, what's happening, Matt?
Yes, Imzy.
I did not think that I'd miss you guys this much, really. Who would have thought it? Seriously, man. When I saw your face like 6 weeks ago, that I'd actually care if I saw them again or anything.
Oh, you must be doing all right. Your hair ain't that long.
No, I got. You know what? I gave my wife a haircut yesterday.
Yeah.
She was
freaking out.
I gave my wife a haircut yesterday.
What the hell?
Yeah, man, she did, man. And it actually turned out all right, man.
So who's doing your hair?
Freaking out halfway through. Huh?
Yeah. Is she doing yours then?
Huh? At some point,
doing your hair then?
Just before lockdown, so I don't know. Do you reckon I need it yet?
No,
you
looks
right. I got mine just before, but mine's, lads, I've done an alright job on it, but mine's getting long, mate. Mine's getting long.
I think you've done okay. Mine was really long on this. Mine was this long on the top, and then I did it to myself here, but I couldn't reach it back, so I've got a mullet. Desperate times. But Imzy, like you said, but we were just talking about this before you came on. Yeah. That the power of midweek to bring people together and for you to form friendships that you never thought you'd form, and for you to say that you didn't think you'd miss us, it's crazy, the power of football, isn't it?
Yeah, man. You know what? It's just, and like this whole period just made me understand what a big chunk of my spare time was involved with football. Either like watching football,
yeah,
playing football a couple of times a week as well, and yeah, man. Now you've got all this extra time.
Yeah. Are you still working, Ims?
Yeah, I'm still working. So
you working from home, or are you traveling?
No, I'm working from home.
Yeah.
But like sitting in this like same seat that I'm sitting in now, probably like 4 days a week, 8 hours a day.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously. I suppose that's where the miss of football comes in. I was saying to Sam, I'm travelling into work, but I was alright at first because I was getting out of the house. But after a while, it just becomes. There's nothing in between. There's no football release or nothing like that. So finding it difficult even going out to work still, to be honest. But as long as all well. Were your family well? Wife's well, obviously.
Yeah, man, they're all good. I was thinking the other day, if you had a choice between not watching football for a year, not playing football for a year, what would you choose?
Probably not watching, because I think I'd rather play.
I think you'd rather play. So no Premier League, no Champions League, no tournaments, no Euro tournament.
We'll make our own tournaments, mate. We'll make our own tournaments, and Sam's got the gadgets to if we need to fix at home, we'll just watch it back.
Because I'll be watching like 4 or 5 games a week, right? Which is, that's pretty much like quite a big chunk of your evenings and weekends.
What, of the old stuff, of old tournaments?
No, and like generally, you'll be watching like 4 or 5 games a week, right?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like a big chunk of my time, man.
Yeah.
But if we had to choose, I think I could not play, man. I couldn't play.
Yeah.
It couldn't happen. And we were talking about, speaking of playing, we're talking about how this wasn't always midweek, was it? It wasn't always a Wednesday game. And if it wasn't for another game, midweek might not exist.
Yeah, like Sunday mornings, man.
Tell us about Sunday mornings.
So, when I got involved was in 2006. I remember it was like September 2006 because it's the same week that I started uni. So it's like it's 14 years ago now.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So, and that game was set up by Khalil. And I got involved because Khalil is mates with Ali, who's my cousin, and he ended up getting me involved. And then he organised that. And that was like before WhatsApp as well, which made like a massive difference in organising it. So he's just like texting everyone like 2 days before the game and trying to get everyone in. And, like sometimes it was on, sometimes it wasn't, but that ended up like fair play to him, he got that kicked off. And like, how long did that go for? That went for like maybe like 8-9 years. It must have been until probably about 2016 that we were still playing that.
A long time, yeah.
Yeah.
So when did Wednesdays become a thing? Where was that switch, or where did it overlap?
That came from Sam. So it's Sam's idea initially to add an additional game on Wednesday.
Was it my idea?
Yeah, that was you.
I swear it was Rich's idea because I said that it was Rich's idea.
Sam's just passed all the credit off to someone else.
Oh. Well, I got it. I heard about it from Sam.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe. Yeah. So did you get the idea from Rich? Because I never knew that.
I don't know. I felt. I don't know. It's almost like it was a simultaneous thing. Like we kind of said, oh, we should play more often. Yeah. And I don't know if it just kind of organically happened between us. So maybe let's share credit for it then. Me and Rich can share creded for you before we brought it to you.
I feel like at the time, I feel like it was you who was the one who was instigating it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so that happened because we wanted to play an extra game a week.
Yeah.
And also, we were kind of getting like a little bit annoyed with how the Sunday football was being run. Do you remember how that was? What was going on with that towards the end? Not when Kay was doing it, but when Nick was looking after it.
Yeah. It had its issues.
Yeah. So he was kind of he just got annoying, man, because he was kind of like putting in whoever he wanted, whenever he wanted, and then people were playing for a while, just ended up getting chucked out for no reason, and like all this stuff was going on, and that's what. Yeah, it just started to leave a bit of a bad taste in the mouth.
Yeah. It was. I think I can't remember why I stopped playing Sundays. Or if it died. It died
after a while, didn't it? When you were playing towards the end, pretty much until people started coming.
As far as I can remember, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then we started losing a bunch of players, like for like various different reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, that game just kind of
died off
out after a little while.
It sounds like a hostile takeover to me, lads, if I'm honest. and then you just jump to a different day.
That wasn't the intention at first, though. I'm feeling innocence.
Yeah, because it was to add to it, wasn't it? It was to supplement it. That's why we put it as far away from Sunday as we possibly could.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That was the idea behind it being Wednesday. So it's like not to interfere with that Sunday game, give everyone like 2 days to recover, play another game. So yeah, that was the point of it.
And would you agree that as good as and as kind of as nice as, I think I use the word nice is really the only word I can use for it, but as nice as Sunday games were, has there been, do you feel, an improvement in quality and intensity on Wednesdays in comparison to Sundays?
Yeah, and there's definitely been like a massive increase in terms of like quality, intensity, and competitiveness on Wednesday. Partly because of the players we got. I reckon we've got a lot better players, but also people take it more seriously as well. And so there is something quite nice about like going somewhere on a Sunday morning and just knowing that you've got the whole day ahead of you, and it's kind of like quite a relaxed sort of vibe, and it's your weekend, you're doing it to chill, and you can we could play as long as we wanted and all that sort of stuff. So there is something to say for that kind of like vibe around the game. But if other people aren't taking it seriously, then that just doesn't work for me, man.
Exactly.
No, I agree. I was saying to Sam, I mean, I suppose the first thing I'd ask would probably be, what's your memories of, was it straight away Power League and Bushy, or, because I was saying to Sam, I remember my first game on the Wednesday was Ruislip, but I don't know if that was the first week and it was a 1 week thing and then it was to Bushy, or you boys played a little bit at Ruislip then moved.
Wednesdays has pretty much always been at Power League, and so we tried a few games in other places, and it was just when the pitch was booked or something like that. And there was a few times when the pitches weren't available at certain points, but when like Bushy's always been home for that game.
Yeah. I mean, and then again, so I mean that kind of lines up for my first memories. But what I'd say is, for me, is I loved it, Imz, because you got the togetherness of everybody together. You got to know each other, and obviously it's been years now. Everybody's quite close and good friends. But it's the competitive, mate. You've got that competitive nature. Soon as we start the game, we're there to win, but enjoy it, and then after. He's all right after, and then, of course there'll be a bit of banter and whatnot after. But for me, 100%. I mean, I weren't there Sundays. I think I come to a couple of Sundays. I'm assuming it was by the back end of that. But you could tell the difference straight away, man. You could tell the difference, and again, probably the same reasons you've just said. I mean, I'm not surprised you lot pulled out, if I'm honest, because it was like walking football.
Yeah.
Not to say the speed of ours is any better, but.
Yeah, you know what?
The vibe of we're there to win wasn't there. It's probably more appropriate thing to say. And it's completely different. But I mean, I'm going to move it on to a couple of questions for you that I think the group would love to know about. Now we got a few of your memories in that. Is the first thing, Imz, is we need to know: have you fiddled with the appearance list?
No, not once. Yeah. No.
There's been a lot of uproar about your numbers, mate. We need to know, has that sheet been tampered with? Yeah,
but see, the thing about it, yeah.
I promise, like, and even it's been a weird these past few months, and knowing
all the people who like, what are you laughing at? I love like seeing all the people who think that there's a fuck up on the list, because it kind of tells you a lot about those people, right? So they're the ones who always have like a lot of faith in the particular opinion, like no matter what. But I know that it's right. So it's just interesting seeing the people that person cannot have had that many appearances or blah blah blah. It's all in your heads, right? That's where the problem is in you.
At least, if you've not tampered with it, have you ever forgot? Hands up, if you ever forgot to at least update it.
I've occasionally guessed out what it should be.
All right.
Only when the guesses are going to be like pretty safe. You know,
Oh, okay.
you know, I look at one from about 3 weeks ago and be like, yeah, there's no way this person has caught up in that many appearances in that amount of time. So I've occasionally done that, but really, it's so quick to do that. There's not really like that much reason for it.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm glad we got some honesty out of you, anyways. That's good enough. Right, next one.
Yeah.
It was a hot talking point when this happened, Imz.
Yeah.
What happened and why was Malik cut from the group?
Because every time that he was playing, everyone was moaning at me. I just couldn't take it anymore. So there's like some people moaning that he should play, some people moaning that he shouldn't play, and it's just so much headache.
So what? so you did it for your own benefit. We didn't think about the man that was playing. We just cut him loose.
Huh?
So you did it for your own benefit, basically, and we just cut the man loose.
No, I wouldn't quite say that. I've done it for the group's benefit.
Well, yeah. Well, that is your job. So take that.
Yeah,
We'll take that.
that's it.
We appreciate your honesty, Imz. Imz, we have to ask about first of all, how would you describe your relationship with the big man Shanu? How would you describe your relationship with him?
Well, I think like on the pitch is completely different to off the pitch, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, so, I mean, so it's quite competitive whilst I'm on the pitch. Like, what's on the pitch? Like, I'm always quite aggressive in, you know, but you know, once it's off the pitch, I'm pretty much forget about it. There's been, yeah, I don't think that anything has really happened off the pitch, and you know, like when you're actually playing, you kind of got to. Everyone gets like a little bit emotional, innit? And so you just go, you know.
Yeah, no, we have no.
Those two situations completely differently. The same rules don't apply when you're like on the pitch and you're having a go at someone or like you're clattering into someone or something. It's like different set of rules, isn't it?
We had no reason to believe that there was anything out off the pitch or any other stuff off the pitch. But for some reason, there does seem to be a pattern emerging where you two, on a more regular basis than was probably normal, that you to be at each other.
Well, on the actual pitch.
On the pitch, not off the pitch.
Yeah.
No, it's different. It's fine.
Yeah, but I mean that's going to happen because our two positions are always going to be clashing with each other. Right?
No, but there's other strikers though. No, you're a defender and Shanu's a striker. There's other strikers you don't clash with as much. What is it about Shanu is what we want to know.
Yeah. What's the vendetta?
There's no vendetta against Shanu, man.
Did he not invite you to his restaurant? What's happening?
Yeah, now you mention it, man.
I remember as well, don't worry.
Okay, and lastly, on the subject of midweek, and as someone who has to check the group relatively often, but I'm sure has it on mute for your own benefit.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think of Ali Shafi.
I mean, he gives a lot of flavour to the group, doesn't he?
I'll tell you what, Imzy, that's an interesting way of putting it, mate.
Yeah, man. Like it's. I don't always read it. I don't read it that much. But he can have his moments. He's quite entertaining. He's also been banned more than everyone else.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's also deserved to be banned like way more than everyone else, probably put together. But yeah, it's interesting, man.
Quite often, like I mean, the amount that I see that you kick Shafi out of a group is is relatively frequent, and probably with just cause, and he'll admit that too. But it almost seems to be just like a routine thing for you, as opposed to anything like you're like. Oh,
I mean, I do find it quite entertaining. I do it with like a grin on my face. need to do it.
Brilliant.
But I think Ali understands, isn't it? He's like,
And then he'll go to the other group and do a lol and say something about just being kicked out of the other group.
yeah, exactly.
We have to love him. One day he's going to come on the show and we're going to ask him about his
many booters out to the group.
Exactly. So our football, of course, wouldn't exist without world football. And at the moment, world football seems to be in just like the rest of the world, in a little bit of turmoil and a little bit of going through a bit of turbulence at the moment. What do you make of the current state of what's going on at the moment, with the fact of what's happening in different leagues and what's happening in our own league here?
So I guess like the biggest question at the moment is like whether it's going to kick off again and whether it should. No. There's that, whether it kicks off again, whether it should kick off again, and if it doesn't, what happens to the Premier League?
Okay, so at this point, can you just tell everyone watching what team you support?
Liverpool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, of course, you have a vested interest in the league either restarting or being completed and then doing what happened in France.
Yeah. So, basically, if you can't play the rest of the games, and it does, I can understand why people think it's a bit weird to try and play the rest of the game, given the current situation. When you're telling people that you shouldn't have like any sort of public gatherings. And I saw something in the papers which said if you want to run a Premier League game in a stadium, you've got to have at least 122 people there to run the game, plus journalists, right? Because there's the entire squad, then there's the coaching staff, then there's the medical staff, and then there's the camera people, and then there's all the stewards and all that sort of stuff. And they had a breakdown. So getting all of those people like into a stadium at the same time when like no one who works in an office is going to work,
Yeah.
I can see why it seems a bit weird, but at the same time, like, we need some distractions right now, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone's like binging through Netflix and going through all their box sets and stuff. And there's nothing new coming out to entertain us during this period. And it's like more important than ever for us to have some sort of distraction. So, I can see a lot of positives in the season being continued.
Would you like to see it continued yourself? Like, what do you feel should happen?
I feel like they should try and finish it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like if they can do it in a safe way, I do think that they should try and finish it, because I think it's more for like the teams who are going to get promoted and relegated, where it's going to be more important. The title race is effectively is over. Everyone knows. But someone like Sheffield United, who if they cut this season now, they wouldn't get into Champions League. But they've got quite a decent chance, and it might be the only chance that they'll get to get into the Champions League.
Yeah.
So, and for them, it's going to be quite tough. And then like Villa getting cut when if they win their next game, they're out of the relegation zone. That's going to be that's going to be tough for them as well. But
and would you, and like in terms of Liverpool winning the league, would you? I mean, I suppose with no fans, it might not make no odds. But would you rather them play the game and then having done it how they should be doing it, or it don't matter too much because there's not going to be fans, and then if it's void, then you get given it anyway? Would that have any effect on your thinking, or?
I think, like, by the nature of football fans in general, everyone's going to try and take the piss if we don't like play a complete season. But really, everyone who does that knows inside that the title race was over 2 months ago. Like, everyone knows. So as much as they say and they make those memes and all that sort of stuff, I don't think Liverpool fans are really kind of would look at those 75% Premier League champions and actually think people are thinking that, because everyone knows that this season was done. It's been like one of the greatest Premier League season performances that any of us have seen. And you know, it's been one of the most dominant Premier League campaigns that I can remember. In like City had a couple, but you know, last season when City had like a similar points tally to what it was projected would have been projected that we had, Liverpool was still quite close behind. So
Yeah.
you know, I would say that this season's even more dominant in even more of a kind of high level performance than City had last season. For like,
And what would you feel like? Because assuming, even if you play the games and you obviously win it, which looks, you know, I don't know what you need now. What 1 point or a draw?
yeah,
What's your feelings on? Because obviously there ain't going to be able to be a parade, and more than likely, you know, the trophy presentation is going to be almost a non-starter with no fans there as well. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Or as a Liverpool fan, you just want it in the bag, it don't matter, and then you know, what happens after sort of thing.
yeah, and like it's been so long since we've like won the league in this country that I don't think it's gonna matter that much. In that, you know, those kind of celebrations, they're there for a day, and people like not forget about it, but they're only important at the time. You know, they don't they're, they're not important in a year's time or 2 years time. The only thing that matters is is winning that trophy.
Good point.
So
yeah, I mean,
obviously,
go on, Imzy, what you saying?
yeah, I'm saying obviously it's not ideal. And you know, when you look back at some of the photos from the parade after the Champions League victories, and you see like all them people out on the streets and all the smoke bombs and the bus parade going through, and you think like, wow, that's like such an incredible atmosphere and all that sort of stuff. And I guess we'll probably still have that when it comes to a time that people are allowed to go back out. They'll probably do something, and it's not going to be the same because it'll be a year down the road or whatever it is. But you know, yeah. So it's sad, you know, it's sad to miss out on like seeing those sort of things in the papers and everywhere. But you know, I don't think that anyone's really going to care too much about that in a year's time.
I mean, for me, like what I'm really interested in asking you, because I believe you've got some strong views on it as well, is how you feel Liverpool got to this point in terms of money spending and owners, like how you've won the league. I'm assuming you're feeling like it's not been like a City thing or a Chelsea thing and so on.
Yeah.
Like what's your whole thinking on in terms of how you've done it in terms of what money's been spent, etc. Or and another way to put it is, a lot of people use the term was certain teams have brought the league.
Yeah, which is obviously correct in a bunch of circumstances. When then like if you throw enough money at it and get all the best players in the world, then well, I'm going to put it back on you, because as a Chelsea fan, do you kind of feel when you went and you could buy two squads which were the quality of the rest of the Premier League, did that really feel as much of an achievement?
I mean, I'll tell you now, I felt fucking fantastic. But I know where you're coming from. But for me, I used to have a big gripe about it, if I'm honest, because those sort of things chucked at us were like from United fans at the time, dominating the league. And I ain't being funny. You'd sit there. Well, any United fan can't come up to me and say they didn't buy good players when they needed to buy players. They had money. Yeah. They had money. They got owners, and they spent money when they could. And for me at the time as well, I used to have a big thing of we were doing all right before the money come in. We were doing all right. We finished third. We had Ranieri there. Things were going all right, and we were buying players. Like the likes of Lampard and that come in before the Roman money come in, and look at his stats and what he's done. So I did have a big gripe about that, but I did look at him before asking you this, and in all fairness to you, although you had owners come in, your nets, I had the top six net spends, the top six clubs net spends, and barring Spurs, who somehow have 20% profit, Liverpool were the fourth on that list, to be fair, and quite a way behind the likes of Chelsea and City, United and Arsenal. So, you know, I do fully know where you're coming from, but listen, money's part of the game, man, and we all got owners now. We all got owners.
But when you look at sport, the thing that makes it exciting is that kind of level of individual achievement or level of like team achievement, where you get like a bunch of people working together to like create something great. And when you have like a team like City, I should have asked you the same question, Sam, but I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you in a second, right? But when you have someone where the entire success of a team is down to the whim of one person who decides that he's going to go out and buy a club, it can't feel as much of an achievement as when you've got a bunch of people who work towards a goal over a number of years and do it by being better than everyone else. And I say that not just from a team perspective or from a coaching staff perspective, but from the entire way that the club is run, in terms of like getting the right people in the right places, having the right organization, having the right scouting network, and getting all the right people in the right place to make something happen. And when you're doing that with like less resources than your competitors, then it just kind of proves that you're achieving at a high level.
Yeah.
And so since the new owners have come in, they've been like slowly building that up in terms of, like looking at how the teams are being coached and how they're being trained in that, like we've got a fucking throwing coach, for fuck's sake, who had a throwing coach before that, but it's helped,
Yeah.
I saw something where they were looking at the stats for the amount of goals that get conceded within like 5 passes or 10 passes from a throw-in, and then they saw how many it was. It was like 15% or something like that. I can't remember the exact numbers, and they were looking at that and thinking this has got to be a bigger part of our game, which like no one is really looking at. And they saw that, someone at the club saw that, they noticed it, they started training like based on these observations, and they started getting results from it. And when you're kind of getting to where you are through having this level of sporting intelligence rather than being able to double the spending of everyone else, it feels so much better, man.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm not disagreeing really, but I think our situation and City's, I don't know where City was at before their owners come in, but I feel we was on the right tracks already. And I think we've kind of gone, we did chuck a load of money in, there's no secret, but I think everybody can agree as well, we've probably changed the last 6 to 10 years, maybe, like halfway, we're trying to go back to, it's been pumped into youth academy and all that. Yeah. But full credit to the Liverpool owners, I do think they've come in, because it's a dangerous game, doing what the likes of Chelsea and City done. Dangerous game. But fair credit for all the credit to the Liverpool owners. They come in and they've done it a certain way straight away. I would say that. So
yeah.
No, fair play.
So Sam, how does that feel with your club? Did that taint it? Because the difference between Man City and Chelsea, though, is that Man City done it by playing super exciting football. As in, the way that they played was incredible, and that kind of softens it for me when I'm looking at City compared to Chelsea.
Well,
I think we get a lot of unjust credit for the way we played, if I'm honest.
Well, under Mourinho, like when you first started achieving at a high level, it wasn't exciting football. It was quality football.
Champions League, maybe we played a certain way, but people, short-term memories, the likes of Robin and Duff and Joe Cole absolutely tearing up the league. We're hitting 3s and 4s and 5s. People forget.
Mm-hmm. It's true. And only a Chelsea fan would actually remember those results fully from that. We kind of have this tainted Jose Mourinho, not tainted even, because I like the thought of winning by any means, even if it means that you don't play attractive football. But that's more recent Mourinho as opposed to maybe the Mourinho in the early days of Chelsea. But I'll keep my answer very short and sweet because we're going to have to go to a break in a minute. But my answer is this: as long as the means are not that illegal and not that many people are suffering from it, I don't care. And if it brings success, then so be it. Because as again, for you, it's there is like an ethics thing about it, and there is something more of an achievement. And yeah, I totally see where you're coming from. And probably if we did it the quote unquote right way, then yeah, it might be even more sweet that we didn't have like billionaire owners that came in and just bought our club as some sort of toy thing. The way maybe what's going to happen to Newcastle at the moment. Newcastle might be the next ones in line. So who knows? But ultimately, we started hitting achievements that we wanted to, and to be honest, that's all I wanted, especially after we dropped all those divisions as well, after that free fall that we had and the real horrible state the club was in, and to climb back to where we were in the first place without the money was a great achievement. And then it's almost like, oh, well, you've done this magnificent thing. Here you go. Have all these billions and do what you want with it. But we're gonna have to leave it there just temporarily. We'll be right back after this break, where Azza's gonna be getting a little bit personal with Imzy.
Right, welcome back, everybody. Right, Ims, we are gonna go on to some questions for you that we got lined up. A couple a bit personal, nothing too crazy though. So just answer as honest as you can. Right, to start with, what's your earliest footballing memory? Playing and watching.
All right, my earliest watching memory was the penalty shootout of the 1990 World Cup.
Yes, mate, that is mine. Well, that is actually mine.
Yeah, I remember some like muppet that we knew had decided to have their wedding on that day. Like, what a dickhead. And everyone was at the wedding ceremony, and you know, they were all getting like really agitated as the kickoff was getting closer and closer and closer. And they had like an after party thing at the person's house. And so as soon as the thing finished, everyone just jumped in their cars and pretty much like bombed it to this guy's house, sat down in front of the TV, and his reception was just watching that game. And at the time, I was too young to actually watch like a full game. So we were like out in the garden, like kicking ball back, coming back in and out. But like when the penalties come in, especially when you're a kid, innit? Like the penalties are the exciting bit, innit? So, so, like I clearly remember that penalty shootout.
Yeah, a Baggio miss.
No. I'm talking about the Chris Waddle and Stuart Pearce miss.
Oh, the England. Oh, okay.
Can't look. Here goes Waddle. Oh dear, it's West Germany. The favourites have got through by the narrowest of margins. They've reached a third consecutive World Cup final. And England's dreams of emulating their achievements of 1966 ended by penalty failure.
Yeah, Italian 90, that one.
Wow, mate.
Baggio was USA 94.
Yeah, sorry, I've got my years mixed up. What's your earliest playing memory then? I suppose maybe that, when you're mucking around in the garden, or?
Potentially. I don't know, I don't really have like an early, like, particular early memory, because at school, like football got banned at our school, at our primary school, like when we were little, so we weren't allowed to play football at school.
Right.
So we didn't really used to play when I was at that younger age, at that up to 12.
Yeah.
And so probably played a bit in Scouts or in Cubs, it was at the time. So probably played a little bit with them. That's probably the only, but I didn't play much when I was a kid.
Favourite player ever?
Gerrard. Clearly, man. One club man, stayed with us the whole time. Massive achievements, quality player.
Favourite movie?
Favourite movie? I might go with, I don't know, Lord of the Rings maybe?
Okay, yeah, nice. Would you rather see 5-year spell of Liverpool dominance now, or England win the World Cup?
Ooh. 5-year spell of Liverpool dominance, man. Because that's a weekly occurrence, man. Yeah, the tournament is great, and it's nice when the whole country is together and everyone's supporting the team and all that sort of stuff. But you know, Premier League is the bread and butter.
Okay, nice. Best attribute? Or go on, Sam, do you want to switch over?
Yeah. Sorry, no, I was just like so shocked by the answer. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I forgot it was my turn. Sorry.
You don't even support England though, so why would you?
No, but considering that you have, like, you've got your England top and it's got your name on your back, on the back, hasn't it?
I've got probably about 12 England tops.
Yeah, so yeah, you're quite an avid fan, and even then.
Yeah, I've been to a bunch of tournaments as well. You know,
I know. So which is why I'm so shocked by you still choosing Liverpool, and considering that it's probably going to happen anyway, isn't it? Over the next few seasons.
I don't know, man. Anything can happen. You know.
But like, as I said, I'm getting a little bit more personal. What would you say is your best attribute? And that can be when you're playing, and also just your general personality, your best attribute.
I'd say like the determination on the pitch.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think like, you know, I'm clearly like not one of the more skillful players there, but I'll, you know, give it 100% at all times. I think like that's important.
Majorly. And what about personality wise?
I go same thing, man.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
That's a slick answer. I like that. That's very smooth. What would you say is the best advice that you've been given in your life?
I think it was the phrase, if it wasn't hard, anyone would do it.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, like when I was going through uni, I went uni late. So I went like at 25. And I went there like kind of determined to smash it. And it's tough, especially like when you're working at the same time, and like, you know, you're working 3-4 days a week, and you're studying 3-4 days a week. You've got no spare time, you're trying to achieve quite well. But it's supposed to be hard, isn't it? That's the point. If it wasn't, then it wouldn't be an achievement worth making.
And that goes hand in hand with your attribute of being determined.
Yeah, I guess so.
Very nice, very nice. And finally, what would you say is the who is the most influential person in your life?
As in, like, someone you personally know.
It could be either, or you might have one for either. It could be like a family, or it could be celebrity, or.
It's proper cheesy, but it's my wife, man.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, mate. Nothing wrong with that.
That's special. Yeah, is she in the room with you now? Is that what you're saying?
She listens to everything.
We'll ask you that one in person, mate.
Exactly. Yeah. Give us a little message on the YouTube on the YouTube comment section.
Pictures, messaging. Yeah.
Right. The next section of questions, Imz. One answer only. Yeah.
All right.
Xbox or PlayStation?
So you cut out in the first bit of that.
Literally one answer.
Okay.
I'll give you two choices. Just one answer straight away from your head. Yeah.
Okay. Why are you grinning at this, man?
I'm not.
I'm very suspicious.
I'm not. You ready?
Go. All right. Go.
Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
McD's or Burger King?
McD's.
UFC or football?
Football.
Men or women?
Men. Huh?
Answer or Sam?
Did I just say men?
You did.
Last question. Azza or Sam?
Sam, obviously.
Oh, all right.
You know,
that's your questions wrapped up.
More revealing than you were hoping for, right? Okay, don't worry. We can move on swiftly from that, Imz, and you can do some self-discovery later. But for now, it is time for this. The champions. This is our brand new competition section. It's going to be, it's called the Midweek Ballers League. And it's basically just a quiz section to test your knowledge. We know how good as it is with his knowledge. And you've got some pretty decent memory when it comes to football as well. So you will have 1 minute. You will have 10 questions and you have to answer as many questions as you can in that 1 minute of those 10 to reach that 10 target. As many as you can. If you don't know the answer, you say pass. Okay. And whoever out of you and Azza gets the most right. So we'll go for Azza first, and then he'll have his minute, and then you'll have your minute to answer your questions. And then whoever wins out of you two today will have the top spots in the league. And we'll be doing regular league. So that means every new guest that comes on, will be giving them the opportunity to try and reach top place in the league. So let's start off. Let me just get my timer ready. And let's start off with Azza. Azza, are you ready?
I'm born ready, mate. That's what I'm here for.
Ready. In your time starts now. Who scored the first Premier League hat-trick?
Ian Wright?
No, Eric Cantona. Which English referee officiated the 2010 World Cup final?
Oh, I know that. Clattenburg?
No, it's Howard Webb. Wayne Rooney scored his Premier League first goal against which team?
Arsenal.
Correct. Who is the world's most expensive teenager?
Mbappe?
Correct. Which club ended a 10-year stint in the Premier League following relegation at the end of the 17-18 season?
Sunderland?
No, Stoke. Which team saw themselves eliminated from the 2018 World Cup due to fair play rules?
Argentina.
No, it was Senegal. Which club did Diego Maradona last play for in Europe? Was it A, Barcelona, B, Sevilla, or C, Napoli?
Napoli.
No, it was Sevilla. Who is the oldest manager in Premier League history?
Fergie.
No, it's Roy Hodgson. Which British team? Oh, and that's the time there.
I've had a mare there, haven't I? Badly.
It's tricky. I think when the time limit kicks in there, it's a little bit, the pressure can take its toll. But with a respectable 2, let's see if Imzy can topple that, and let's see if the pressure gets to him as well. Imzy, are you ready?
I'm gonna have to do this every week, Sam.
That's it. Done.
Listen, I mean, the more quizzes we get involved with, I think the better our skills will be. But Imzy, are you ready for your 1 minute to try and?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Okay, your time starts now. How many top division domestic titles had Chelsea won prior to their first one in Roman Abramovich era?
4.
What was that, sorry?
4.
No, the answer is 1. Which former Premier League team was sponsored by TY, the Beanie Babe company?
Red and white they played in. Was it Stoke?
No, it's Portsmouth. Alan Shearer is the all-time top scorer in the Premier League. How many has he scored?
173.
No, it's 260. Which goalkeeper kept the most clean sheets in Premier League history?
Pass.
It's Peter Cech. One side in 2018-19 season became the first team to not draw a single game away from home in the Premier League. Which team was that?
Liverpool.
No, it was Spurs. Has Zlatan Ibrahimovic ever won the Champions League in his career?
Yes.
Oh, there goes the buzzer, and unfortunately the answer is no. Zlatan Ibrahimovic has never won the Champions League season.
Huh?
I mean, who would have thought it? As of putting down the marker at 2. And
big 2, come on!
I think Az is going to be in a competition to try and beat his own score by next week. But
yeah, some tough questions, man.
They were tricky. I tried to keep them as general and vague as possible, and not too specific. But I'm sure I'll get some feedback on whether they were too hard or not.
Yeah, they were too hard.
They were too hard.
Were too hard. Yeah. Mine were definitely too hard.
Fantastic. Okay, so there you have it. So Azza, you are top of the Midweek Ballers League with a big resounding 2. And let's see if our next guest on our next week's show can beat that score. But for now, congratulations, Azza. How do you feel?
Well, I don't know how long that's going to last, Sam, but we will take it for now.
Does it help to know that despite everything that Imzy said about Chelsea, that you will always be above him in this league?
Yeah, actually, yes. But thank you for thinking we won more league titles before Roman come in. That was nice to hear.
Yeah, you gave Chelsea more credit there. There's only one title before Roman Abramovich.
I knew I liked Imzy, really.
Fantastic. So Imzy, thank you so much for coming on the show. Would you care to stick around, because we play a final fun round called the Final Call with Azza, and it's just a little bit of fun time with Azza. Would you care to stick around and see how that goes before we let you go?
Yeah, let's do it.
Fantastic. So it is now time for this.
Time at the bar!
And that means it is time for the final call, and that means it's time for me to have a little bit of fun with Azza. And Azza doesn't know what I've got planned for him today. And each week at the end of the show, Azza doesn't know what I've got planned for him. And so today we're going to play a little game called This or That. So you may be really, really savvy with what the topic at hand, or you may not be, but I'm going to give you a word, and it'll either be one thing or the other. And of course, I'll be telling you what those things are in just a moment. Do you understand the rules, Azza?
Yeah.
And just before we start, just to kind of give you a little intro to the topic we'll be discussing about, are you an avid yoga fan?
No.
No. And so you wouldn't know too many of the yoga moves or positions?
No. Yeah, I was going to say something there, Sam, but I will not.
Okay, and how's your knowledge on the Kama Sutra?
I'm sure that's a little bit better, for sure.
Well, let's find out, because now we're going to play This or That, and I want to give you the name of a position, and it'll either be a yoga position or it will be a Kama Sutra position, okay? And we're going to see how well you can do. Imzy, if you wouldn't mind keeping score,
Okay.
and if I don't say anything, it just means that he's got it right. And if I say wrong, then it'll just be a score out of 20 by the end of it.
Cool.
Okay, so as all you're going to do is say yoga or karma, if you are, or however you would like to just, go for it. But yoga or karma is probably, he's stretching, he's ready for it. He's getting himself.
I'm ready.
Okay, are you ready to play This or That, Kama Sutra or yoga? Are you ready, Azza?
Yeah, I'm ready, mate.
Okay.
This is be entertaining.
And away we go. Downward facing dog.
Yoga.
Correct. Eagle.
Yoga.
No, it's Kama Sutra. Butterfly.
Yoga.
No, it's Kama Sutra. Plank.
Yoga.
That is yoga. Goddess.
Karma all day.
No, that is yoga. Nirvana.
Karma.
Yeah, that is karma. Correct. Three-legged dog.
Yoga.
Correct. Well done. That was a close one. Accent to desire.
Karma.
Correct. Full lotus.
Karma.
No, that's yoga. Rocking horse.
Karma.
No, yeah, correct. Well done.
Yeah.
Wild thing.
Karma.
No, that's a yoga pose. Splitting bamboo. Be careful.
Yoga.
Kama Sutra. The ape.
The what?
Ape.
Karma.
Correct. Warrior 1.
Oh, karma.
No, that's yoga. Cobra.
Karma.
That's yoga as well. Crouching tiger.
Yoga.
No, that's karma. Tree.
Karma.
No, that's yoga. Cat.
Yoga.
Correct. Squat balance.
Oh my god. Yoga.
Funny enough, that's karma. And lastly, mermaid.
Yoga.
No, it's Kama Sutra.
Oh, mate, what is going on with some of these names?
Oh my goodness! Do you know what? A lot of them were quite deceiving, and
Put out some diagrams after each one.
I'm very, very.
I was worried he was going to ask me to reenact him out.
Oh my goodness! No, well, fair play to you, Azza. You were bang up for that game, and you didn't do too badly considering. I mean, I don't think your missus will be too displeased with how many Kama Sutra or yoga positions you got right.
I mean, the Cobra thing sounds spot on, mate, from what I know of, but never mind.
I find it interesting how I said warrior and you said Kama Sutra. I'm like, is that quite an aggressive kind of
I don't know what to say, mate. I don't know what to say.
Absolutely fantastic. And if you'd like to see Azza struggle, then you can tune in next time as well for our final call session. And Imzy, how did you do?
That was 8, by the way. Do you want to know the score?
You know, a respectable.
Hey, how many is that out of? That's good. That was a good few
8
questions.
out of 20.
Out of 20, yeah. That, to be honest, that's.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
And for someone that doesn't sound like he practices either, that's not bad. I'll give you that. But Imzy, thank you so much for keeping score. Thank you so much for your company today and your insight. We've got had some incredible discussions, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thanks for having me on, man.
Nice one, Imzy. Hopefully see you soon, no doubt.
Sorry?
Hopefully see you soon. And keep well.
Man. Bloody hell. And let's get back on that pitch some point, man.
No,
100%. Can't wait for that. Can't wait.
We're all itching for it. But Imzy, once again, thank you so much, and take care, Imzy. Cheers. Right. Okay. So that's it. That's the show.
Good guest. Good guest, Imzy. Hopefully it won't be too long till we see him soon. But yeah, good show, Sam. We want to do a little review for everybody. See if we can keep everybody entertained, watching stuff at home.
Yeah, most definitely, of course. Yeah, in a time especially where we can't go out, we're restricted in where we can and can't go. It's a bit of a tricky situation. So we thought we'd give you our recommendations of things that you can maybe binge watch or get into that if you haven't already, or films that you haven't seen yet. If we all have access to the internet, then you should be able to get it fine. Is there anything at the front of your mind that
well, obviously we're very football related, and that's what we're here for. So for me, if anybody has not seen Sunderland Till I Die, please go and watch it. Got recommended it to me from our group, funny enough, and within the first episode, I don't know if you've seen it, Sam. Within the first episode, captured me straight away. That's a must if anybody's not seen that. And again, a lot of guys I've been hearing not seeing Peaky Blinders. A lot of people saying they've not seen it. Don't get me wrong. I put it on, stopped, and then I went again. Once you get through that first episode and things start rolling, very, very, very good watch, Peaky Blinders. So that's probably my 2 I'll chuck out there, because I know a few people have not seen either of one of those.
I'm quite disappointed in some of the lads that haven't seen Peaky Blinders, lads and lasses that haven't seen that. But yeah, like you said, it can be a bit of a slow burner. But eventually, Cillian Murphy's performances and the way everything's put together, it's very slick, very nicely done, and very well acted as well. So yeah, so Sunderland Till I Die, Peaky Blinders. I would recommend Tiger King. It is. Yes. It is bananas.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. I had no idea what that was going to be like, and everybody was going on at me, gotta watch it as. And to be fair, once I realised it was a documentary, that kind of pulled me in. And then to see what was happening and realising the stuff that's happening is all real, is pretty mind-boggling. So if you're not seeing that, 100% see that.
It's a real person. This person exists, and it has literally everything that you want from a good movie or a good series. It's got it in a documentary.
Yeah, it's pretty mental, to be honest, but it is funny as well.
It is incredible. And I actually feel like, because I've finished it now, and I feel like it's missing from me. Like I noticed there's that gap where I need that dose of craziness, and it's just not being filled. So
I've got to be honest, I'll probably not binge watch something so quick, to be fair, because you just wanted to see what was happening next. So yeah, very good one to watch. If anybody's not.
Carol Baskin. I consider that bitch to be one of the biggest terrorists in the exotic animal world. Carol Baskin.
And it's not too much of a slow burn. And I mean, it's quite easy to get caught up pretty quickly in that one. So that one you don't have to kind of struggle through or anything like that. So Tiger King. But that's all for now. I mean, I can't. There's nothing really else. But I mean, that should be enough to kind of get you through to at least our recommendations next week.
For sure. We'll have a few more for next week.
Most definitely. And Azza, next week, what we got planned?
So next week, everybody, show number 2. We have next week live from Holland. Our man Addy will be on with us. We'll see how he gets on with the midweek Borders leaderboard. We got some other topics to hit with him, and let's see what memories and etc. we had from starting on the midweek. And it'll be fun. Addy will be a good guest for sure.
Fantastic. Addy, a legend of the game, of course, started off with us here, and now unfortunately he's abroad. But yes, he will be joining us live from Holland. So it'll be really, really good to hear from him. And I'm sure we'll have more in-depth discussion about the current state of football as well, because about what he thinks and how things are going over there in Holland. Fantastic. So that's all from us this week. That's all we have for you. We hope we informed you. We hope we entertained you. And we hope we've made this lockdown a little bit easier for you guys. So from me, Sam.
And me, Azza.
It's see you next week. Take care.
See you later, guys.
Man, you know you're never coming back. Past the square, past the bridge, past the mills, past the stacks. On a gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand.